Yakety poo, I'm going to need that beer. This is the underneath of the table. Well, that's it. That's the cable clipping done there. Then connected that old bit of cable into a knee length. It just runs there, which is where I'm going to leave it for now. I think there's a shelving unit going there, and I don't want to go and put a Patterson socket on the wall and then it be in the way of anything. So along this wall at the minute I'm going to leave it as a blank canvas, because I know I can't put nothing there because the big fridges go in there, so any power point would have to come up or past it over there where that the lighter panel is, because the current plan as it is in my head, subject to change, alteration and amendment, is the big walk-in fridge down here, then the other fridge here. So that will mean they go pretty tight against the wall, so the power points will have to come out and go there. Then that big steel cupboard, I don't know whether you've seen that before, but that will live there, and then the shelf there. So it's a case of what we need and where we need it. So I might just do one on top of the other, so I've got a bank of 4. So if I put one of those little beer fridges on top of the unit, there's a power supply there, and possibly one here, I don't know. I'm going to leave it. I've got the cable, so it's not an issue until I sort of get everything else in. So the next job is to do the cut and shut job on that, and then start thinking about getting the big stuff in. I think if we're going to run out of time today, I have to stop and cook tea. Then I've got to rummage around in the old electrical boxes to find a consumer unit to start that, and some armoured cable that will also have to go along there somewhere, and probably out down there along with the water supply, and as I said earlier, the Ethernet somewhere. I'm going to work my way back to that, because it's a 50 metre external rated cable, so somewhere along here it can come in. Again, I'll need another power point because I've got an Ethernet switch, so I can have 1 or 2 lines in here, and then my lad's shed out the back as well, so that will give him a hardwired feed. So along here somewhere, God knows where, I don't really want to have to take all those boxes down again. Oh well, we'll figure it out. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I've got enough problems as it is with that. Worrying about internet, we've got wireless down here just about, but still got to sort that one out, which will be next on my agenda, I think. And that's it for the electrics then, till I start moving stuff in and get the main fuse panel in. Just put a front on that one, and then it's put the electrician's hat away and put the plumber's hat on. Well, a much improved looking floor, sort of, still bruised and battered, but at least it's a little bit darker than it was, and it's another job off the list, which no longer hinders me doing something else. Just got to go around and seal around the joints, tidy up the wall. We put in a fused spare for a water heater down there if needed, and all we done was use that paint and thinned it right down with some white spirit, which means the room is sort of at flam point. It stinks in here. I could smell it before I even opened the door. So we've got the room with the view out there. We've got the big door open, so on a nice brew day we can enjoy the world as we brew, or shut the door because all the flies will come in or something. Anyway, we will continue when I can breathe in here. Oh, my nice new floor. Gotta get the touch-up paint out. But the fridge is in. Not necessarily where it'll live, but it is in. And so's that bit, and so's that bit. Untie our tees. So that means it's cleaning, greasy, shitty catering equipment time. Of course, the most important ingredient is to stay hydrated at all times. with a vintage 2014 Blitzen barrel house aged beer to car, 7%. We'll see how we go on. Yakety poo, I'm going to need that beer. This is the underneath of the table. Had a little play with some bits a while back, just to see what would degrease the goo. God knows what the restaurant was like if this was the underside of the bottom shelf. I mean, the shelf wasn't, it was pretty manky when I got it. But, you know, we don't want too many lambic strains floating about, so we've got to clean all this up and turn it around and do the important bit that you will see as well. Well, finally, another late night cleaning this bloody thing. A little bit of stainage down there, corrosion, but that's about the worst bit really. The tops weren't too bad, it wasn't as bad. I mean, they were pretty minging like the underside was on that last clip, but I'd already tackled most of this. There's a few sort of marks there and here, but you know, it is a used item. It's not going to be pristine, but it's galvanised underneath, reinforced, so it's going to take plenty of weight. So now is the sink backsplash. Got to give that a little bit of a clean up while I can still get in the nooks and crannies easily. And I've found the tap that came with it, which is only a single one, but it's just like a tall basin wrench. And not basin wrench, what do I call it? A basin wrench? You know what I mean. Basin tap. A tall basin tap. Single flow, it's not a mixer. This was originally the hot tap, or an only a tap, because that's the only hole it had for. But it's got the little aerator sprinklery gizmo, which is too small to fit one of those tap adapters. So for the purpose of assembly, I'm going to use it to weld the two parts together and carry on with a view to sourcing a replacement which will fit one of those adapters and allow me to put one of the bottling attachments on it, or more essentially for another item that requires a tap adapter that you'll see at a later date when it's installed. But we need one or something, if not we'll have to put a washing machine valve in situ somewhere if we can't do something with this. Right, press on. Well, that's clamped up. Yeah, don't worry about the tap. I know it's facing the wrong way. It's just nice and tight to hold it all in place while the silicone sets, and hopefully that'll hold it enough just to do the job. Which brings me round to supporting this end, which will be the end that should be on a machine. Luckily, as it would have it, or I would have it, I have a pair of legs. I bought a couple of stainless steel shelves, just some random junky stainless stuff for about £7. 2 shelves, and these two bits, which just happen to be the perfect height. How bloody lucky is that? Now the sink sits slightly higher than the table, but the table feet are wound all the way down, so I can bring the table up to the height. Obviously I've got to make that end a little bit higher so that the water will run down to the sink. So my thinkings is I'll just drill a couple of holes and screw this straight through. Try and get it so it's tight against the top or underside of this, so they're not doing that. But the plan is, once it's in situ, I can fit a couple of angle brackets self-tapped into the steel, screwed into the floor, so that should lock them in place. And what I'm going to do is just drill a couple of holes in the back panel here, and put a couple of stainless steel screws into the back wall, so that will secure it from being a little bit floppy, and obviously it'll be fixed at the back as well. I'm going to put a timber batten underneath that end, screw to the wall so it'll sit on that, and then I can run a screw or something, a bracket to hold it all in place. Then I know where we're being at, and I can line the table up and press on. Got to do that bloody plumbing next. That's a bit of a head scratcher where everything's going to go. Right, onwards. Well, that worked. Not too bad with a step bit. Even give them a little bit of a countersink with that. So, not you know, obviously we know we've still got the flippy floppies, but once we're secured to the wall, that will stop any sideways movement, and to stop the legs from flopping about, we'll just put the angle bracket in. So that's that little bit sorted. Now to find some piping.